Y'all come on in, come on in. We finna get on these folks. Hey, Charleston White, you fucking fraud, you. And we gonna leave it right there for a minute. But yeah, man, Charleston White a fraud. Now we know. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't know, now you really know. He been a fraud. I'm trying to find this clip. Which one was it? It was this one. Gosh. Give me a second, child. All right. Okay, okay. Y'all come on in, come on in. Let's play this chat. I'm not getting no sound. Okay. Now I'm having problems with the sound. Give me a second. This is crazy, man. Yep, y'all come on in, chat. These folks are crazy. We're gonna get into it. Okay, why is it still beeping like it's not fucking connected? Okay, there it is. Now we got it. Okay. Let me go. Let me go ahead and play this right quick so I can just get this started because we got a lot of people who've been saying a lot of things. People been feeling a lot of different kind of ways about the Karmelo situation. You know, me myself, I feel bad for him and his family, and I feel bad for the McCleaf family. But what I don't feel bad for is what the things that the dad said because they were very harmful to a lot of people. You know, and you can't, like he was trying to say at the same time, you can't go around being emotional. Like you won't be able to think straight being emotional. But he was sitting up being emotional, calling Karmelo a watermelon felon and all of this type of stuff. So I got a couple of audio clips, especially from people, just different views of people, white people, black people, everyone's different views. And my favorite view was the older black, the older white man, what he said in the beginning. Like he was basically saying like he wouldn't wish that on anyone, you know, and he feels bad for him and he don't even believe that Karmelo went there intending to kill Austin, you know, but that's what happened because you had two young kids at the age of 17 angry and infuriated, mad at each other, and they didn't know how to walk away. Neither one of them.
Whole life. I think he's young enough that he can hopefully grow, learn something, come out and be a productive part of society. I don't even think he went there to do what happened, but that's what happened. And we don't need to be setting a precedent where if you come up and shove me, I can just pull a knife and say, proportional force, right? If I come up and shove you, you shove me back, we get in a fight, but not pull a knife and stab somebody.
Right.
For sake, man.
Thank you for the like, everyone. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the
Excuse the
channel.
language, but it was testified and not
Now listen
refuted
to this. She was
that
kind of,
Austin Metcalf did tell him to call him
she kind of
the
did,
C
she didn't
word
even know what
and say that I'm
self-defense was.
gonna
So I'm
sure
going to let everybody know what it is.
Wasn't it over the 1-9 record that Carmelo's?
Was on the ground and somebody's in jail for something that should have been self-defense.
That shit crazy. I went to school.
Self-defense. That's how we're supposed to know how to act around white
Karmelo
people.
got
What the fuck
30
is
points,
that? What for? What is that?
Yeah.
What is self-defense? Is self-defense not somebody touching you that you don't want touching you and you defending yourself?
No, that's not what self-defense is. That is not what self-defense is. Self-defense is not you doing something to somebody that's touching you that you don't want touching you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the parents' mistake right there. They kids don't even know the true meaning of self-defense. They're out there in Texas, and these kids don't even know the true meaning of the stand your law ground. They think they can just stand their ground. You know, they don't know the true meaning of the stand your ground law, right? They don't know the true meaning of self-defense, right? So let me show y'all something right quick, because she's standing there mad and she's yelling and she's like, is that not self-defense? When someone's touching you that you don't want touching you, you kill them. That's not what we want to preach to our kids. What's up, y'all? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm finna read the definition of self-defense. Self-defense is the legal right and act of a responsible degree of force. It said the legal right and act, meaning that you got the right to do this and you can act with a degree of responsible force. That means you're responsible. If you kill somebody with your force, you wasn't being responsible, right? So that's self-defense. So he can't say that it was self-defense. Can he say he was standing his ground? Yes, he can say he was standing his ground, right? Depending on the state, stand your ground law, you have no legal obligation to back down before using force. That's what stand your ground law is. You have no reasonable, like you don't have no legal obligation to back down before using force. In other jurisdictions, you may have a duty to retreat if you can do so safely. So that's where they got them at. Watch this. It says, in other jurisdictions. In Texas jurisdiction, stand your ground law is that they have the legal obligation to use force before backing down. But they say in other jurisdictions, so that's what the DA did and the judge did. They bought shit in other jurisdictions around in Texas where you have the duty and you have to retreat if you can. That was their whole point during the case, that hey, if he felt threatened, why didn't he run? Why didn't he retreat? So they used all of this against him. But again, for the young lady who was expressing herself and said, if someone's touching you that you don't want touching you, ain't that self-defense? No. Again, I'm going to read you the definition of self-defense. Self-defense is the legal right and act of using a responsible degree of force to protect oneself, others, or property from imminent harm or attack. Now, I believe that's what Austin believed that he was doing when he stood up for his whole team's tent and approached the young black guy, Karmelo Anthony, and said, "Hey, get from under the tent." He believed that he was acting in his legal right and using a responsible degree of force by saying, "Hey, move, get from under here," and pushing them. Right? That's responsible. He didn't take his life. He just used force to get him away, to protect himself, others, and the property of his school from being under attack. That's how they looked at it. So that's why I say I can look at this situation from both sides, and I cannot take a side and be on both sides and see where he thought he was right on Karmelo Anthony's side, and where Austin thought he was right before his life was taken. You know what I'm saying? But I want that to resonate with y'all. He can't get self-defense, because self-defense is the legal right and act of using a responsible degree of force. And if you kill somebody, they saying you wasn't responsible with your degree of force, because your degree of force killed the person. I believe he was in shock when it happened. His adrenaline was rushing, and he just acted before he thought. McCleaf came up to him and pushed him. This a football player. Look, the young man, Karmelo Anthony, he was a track runner. He weighed 130 pounds at the age of 17. McCleaf was a football player. He weighed between 200 and 220 when he was 17. And he was 6 feet tall. This is wide receiver, quarterback type of build that he got on him. So was he scared? Was Karmelo scared? I don't know. But was he in shock? I do believe that his adrenaline was already rushing by then, and he pushed him, and he pushed him back, and he came to push him again, but he didn't think of anything. And they said he ran off. He didn't run off. He left from the tent, right, and went across the parking lot away from McCleaf and his twin brother, who was holding him, crying and everything. He ran across the parking lot and stood there. And when the police made it, everyone said somebody had been stabbed, but they wasn't pointing at McCleaf, which made the police off. They was pointing at Karmelo, which who knows if his life could have been saved if the police would have been more visual and saw him laying on the ground and ran to him first and got now we need a paramedics on the scene right away. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the young man has been stabbed. He's bleeding out. You know what I'm saying? But they went after Karmelo first because they said the crowd was pointing at Karmelo, right? So they went after Karmelo, and they even walked him all the way back. They walked him all the way back to their patrol vehicles. What about the young dude that's fucking stabbed on the ground? Worry about who stabbed him later and take care of him. Because he's only 17. The one that stabbed him is only 17, so he can only make it so far. He's not an adult. He doesn't have a car where he can just leave and go out of town, and he doesn't have a getaway plan. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I believe everything took a turn at the track meet. Everything took a turn when his lawyers tried to fight for self-defense. And how can you get self-defense if it wasn't a responsible degree of force? It was an emotional degree of force. Come on, man. He He didn't think, and then he stabbed him in the chest. But he stuck straight out. That means that his arm length reaching up was at McCleaf's chest. So that tells you, that should tell you how tall McCleaf was over him. That should tell you why the young man pride struck him when McCleaf said, yeah, man, get from under our tent. Why his pride struck him and said, I'm not going to let you, because you're bigger than me and you're taller than me, I'm not going to let you scare me away. It's raining out here right now. We're not running right now because the rain is coming. It's raining out here right now. I'm just trying to keep from getting wet. But did he say all of that? No. He just said, man, please, I'm not going anywhere. Make me move. You see it's raining out here. You know, that's what everybody's not saying. Everybody's just like, why did he leave from under the tent? Why did he go? Didn't you hear? His track meet wasn't going on there because it was a storm. That's why everybody was standing under their tents. His tent was obviously on the other side of the stadium because he ran under someone else's tent. Then when he get under there and it's raining all hard, they try to kick him from under the tent. You can just imagine how hurt he was. So how you can imagine how he reacted. If you can't imagine how he reacted, think about when you were 16 or 17, and if you played sports, you know, and if you've been to some, especially track meets, we running 4x4s and stuff. We're not trying to run in the rain because of the slippery track, right? So we're gonna wait the rain out and then let the track soak up the rain, absorb the rain. Then we'll get out there and run, right? But that's what I believe happened. Yeah, y'all, come on in. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But we just talking about real self-defense and what it is, you know. And when I heard her say that, isn't that self-defense? If someone's that's touching you and you don't want them touching you, you get them to stop touching you. No, that's not self-defense. That's not. And right now you're just emotional and you're hurt because you're like, what if that was my little brother? Or what if that was my son? You know what I'm saying? No matter what the color is of the kid, what if that was him in that situation? You know what I'm saying? What if? That's what people, I always tell people, man, put yourself in other people's shoes. Don't just judge people.
It's self-defense.
There she go. What is self-defense?
The same God that saved the life.
We know what self-defense is.
The same God that saved the life. Austin mother, as a mother to mother, you seen that woman on the fucking news crying. You know damn well Karmelo did not try to kill your son. He wanted to defend himself. The
Right.
big ass mother.
Now,
to you. And one thing that I do know,
I wanted to fast forward that because she's kind of violent with her words, and it's just a lot of emotion, right? So we're going to move on to the next clip.
He's 50% of his time, so 17 and a half years in prison before they can even look at his file to consider for parole. It doesn't mean that he's going to automatically get parole,
17 years
but they
before
cannot
they can
consider
even
him
look
for 17 and a half
for
years.
parole.
He will get time for any credit that he's been in previous to today towards that sentence.
Are you surprised by the number of years? I mean, what do you think went into that calculus in terms of coming up with that?
You know, I don't know really what went into the
everyone
calculus.
lost.
I mean, part of you thinks, you know, if Mr. Metcalf was
True that.
17
The
and a half,
win.
maybe they multiplied it by 2 and got 35. You know, there's really no rhyme or reason a lot of times with jurors on what they decide or what they come up with.
Now look, he's talking about the jury and what they decide and what they come up with. They speaking to one of the guys, one of the lawyers after the court case and everything, with the 35 years, and he was sentenced to 35 years, and he said there's really no way to, you know, know why they chose 35, why they gave them the max. And I told y'all yesterday, I said, when you go to court for a murder, like he went to court for that murder, he pleaded not guilty. The judge said, do you want to go to trial? Right? He said yes, because he's pleading not guilty. He's saying he didn't kill him like on purpose. This was self-defense, right? So the judge has to tell him right then and there, you do realize, since you're taking it to trial, if you lose out in trial, you could receive up to the max sentence. That's what they don't tell you, and that's where a lot of people in jail, mostly black men, they go to trial, they take it to trial, and they're able to take it to trial 3 times, right? But if you lose in trial, they're going to give you the max sentence, and then they have to tell him the max sentence, which is 25 to life or higher, 35, 45. You know, they have to tell him that. And he has to say that he understands, and then they set it for trial, right? So it's sad to say, but he and his parents already knew that if he take it to trial, it was a chance that he was going to receive 25 years to life if he lost, right? And that's just the law, right? But one thing that his parents shouldn't have never did that helped the jury, I'm going to say help the jury decide, and this is from my friend, the lead attorney in Atlanta. One thing his parents did do that was wrong was hire a felon so-called pastor who shook a baby, 2-year-old baby, till it was brain dead, till it had brain damage, right? This baby spent months in the ICU in baby intensive care, right? After beating his baby mama. Then while Karmelo Anthony trial has been set a year ago, when it was set, in between the year and a half of his trial date starting, this man gets into another domestic violence case with his baby mama. Then he takes the job from Karmelo Anthony's parents to be his spokesperson for the case, right? Then he has a rally, and he rally ups people to pray for Karmelo Anthony. And Justin McCleaf's dad shows up to pray, and this man pushed Justin McCleaf's dad out of the damn praying rally, get him escorted out by police officers when he's the victim. The Karmelo Anthony's family hadn't lost a child yet. He lost his child. Y'all still got a chance to save y'all child. What they were supposed to do was walk off that stage and say, officers, no, and tell that fake pastor nigga to step down. No, officers, sir, we're sorry. Come on in here. And let him get up on that mic and talk and pray for them and pray for their son and pray for his son and his wife that lost his brother and that lost her son. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were supposed to do. But you can imagine if you're a juror and you're sitting back and you're hearing about this and you're seeing it on the news and you're like, why would they do that? Why would they do that to him? He's hurt nobody, right? And man, and they like, okay, if they're not remorseful towards the dad, we can expect that Karmelo Anthony probably wasn't remorseful towards the dad's son when he stabbed him. I mean, they looking at the parents and they saying they not remorseful, and this is the child that they raised this could be a lie, a persona that he's putting on in front of us, and he's really not remorseful about this because his parents is not remorseful. And that's where I believe the whole trial took a turn, and they sentenced him with 35 years instead of 15 or 20 years or something like that, where he could do 2 for 1 and serve half the sentence, and be out and be able to start a life and try to make something or reconcile something from his life, you know. But let's get back into
I mean,
it.
I do think it's a significant punishment for the defendant.
Even the attorney
by the
thinks
jury, for sure.
it's a
Yeah, they definitely
significant
sent a
punishment.
message with that verdict, Teresa. And
man.
we are again expecting impact statements. This is the first time since there has been a gag order that perhaps we might hear from Hunter. He has been not been in the courtroom because his family says
Thanks for the
family
love.
friends that I've been
Everybody,
talking
don't
to throughout
forget to
this
like
trial
the
said it was
video, subscribe to the
extremely
channel.
emotional. And he watched
We're
his
bringing
twin
you more
brother
every
get
day.
murdered in front of him.
We go
and
live here every day.
he just wasn't able to come to court, and he was a potential witness, but he was in there, and we might hear from him. We're not sure who we're going to hear from. We'll wait for Jobin's notes, and then we are expecting those press conferences, Teresa.
Yeah, so Jobin's latest dispatch says the jury has been excused and the judge has thanked them for their service, and he does say that they are taking a recess. So I don't know if that means that those victim impact statements, they're just going to take a moment, take a breath, and then come back and do those.
And this is right before they sentence him the 35 years. That's why they're saying that the jury has went in the back and they've taken the victim impact statements, meaning they took the dad's statement, and the dad wrote in there that he tried to go and pray with the young dude's family, and they put him out of the prayer, had him escorted out by the police. So they finna get ready to read that from the dad while they're deliberating before they sentence Karmelo Anthony and figure out his sentence. The news just told us they just took the impact statements to the back. Watch, they
or
say
if those may be delayed.
years.
I don't know exactly what that means. But I do also want to point out, so a 35-year sentence. Karmelo Anthony is 19 years old
19
now. And Keith, I believe you said it would have to be 17 and a half years that would be served. So
Yeah.
we're looking at a young man who would be in his mid-30s before he would be potentially even considered to be free again. And that's just an interesting observation, that this, the age of everyone
I lost
involved.
my closest cousin, my big cousin. I lost him. I stay in Memphis. Fraser, the Bay Area where Juicy J, DJ Paul, 3-6 Mafia, and all of them from. That's where my big cousin was from. His dad died, from being in the Vietnam and everything. Like my uncle, his legs was going bad, and he didn't want to get them cut off, and it killed his son after he died. Like my cousin became like a big alcoholic. Like he had to be drinking a beer every day he wanted to get up and go to the store. One night he went to the store to get him some beers, and he was coming back across the street, Fraser Boulevard, and somebody ran him over in one of the like a Scat Pat Charger, and they drug him for 3 miles down the street, and they kept going, and the police never found out who those people were. You know what I'm saying? Those people, whoever they were, they gotta live with that for the rest of their life. They gotta think about it, because they could feel the charger sits so low to the ground, you can feel a person under the charger. They drug them for 3 miles. So yeah, man, I done lost somebody before, and I done lost people to incarceration. I know how it feels. You know what I'm saying? And I done been incarcerated before. Not for a long time, but I know what it looks like on the inside of the jail. I know how the police officers, the guards, they treat you. They treat you like animals. Even if you're not an animal, You know, I'm in there for missing court for traffic tickets, right? 30 days with the criminals, the killers, and the rapists, and the murderers. And they treat me the same way they treat them. Talk to me bad. Call me out my name. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I know that young man is finna have to go through, because they're already transporting him from that jail in the courthouse. They're finna get ready to transport him to a farm facility where it's like a penal farm, where it's like out in the field. You know, he'd be making license plates and shit for the rest of his life, for most of his life, not knowing what the outside world is looking like. And right now, the outside world that we live in, technology makes us advance so fast. By the time he get out, we'll have flying cars already. We already have the cars where they drive themselves. The movie Fifth Element with Bruce Willis, the flying cars drove themselves in that movie with Chris Tucker. A lot of people probably too young to know about that movie, but that's what the Tesla and stuff is doing right now. The Tesla, the Rivian, they drive it themselves while you're sitting in the seat. They just not flying yet. But you know, they got promos and demos of all of that type of stuff. But let's get back into the video, y'all.
Here, still a very tender age when you consider that they are in their late teens.
And Teresa, sometimes when they take a recess, and Keith, you can talk a little bit about this, it's also because they give the attorneys an opportunity if they want to talk to the jury. And sometimes before impact statements, before they completely release the jury. And by the way, sometimes the jury can be allowed back in for the impact statements if they want to hear them. So I'm sure that they're going through all of that. And I suspect that if I were or the prosecutors, I would want to know how they came to this sentencing.
That's what's up, Silver.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you know, with juries, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that at least one side will go talk to them. Maybe both sides go talk to them. You know.
Yeah. At Vicksburg, yeah, the young man took an innocent kid's life. Both of them were young men. Both of them were kids. Both of them were innocent. He was innocent until he was proven guilty, right? He was innocent until he let his pride get in the way. Because that's what most kids do. They let their pride get in the way. If they would have never said nothing to him, nothing would have ever happened. Soon as it would have slowed down and raining, he would have got from under that tent, because it's time for him to run now, you know. And then on the same thing, on the other hand, when they did say something to him, he could have just went and ran up under somebody else's tent. You know what I'm saying? He could have ran under somebody else's tent, no matter how far it was. If he felt like they was being negative, he could have ran from under their tent to someone else's tent and stayed away from them and got away from them. But instead, he chose to let his pride, rule his life instead of him rule his pride. And from that, his pride got his life taken, and his parents weren't smart enough to navigate and do background checks on people that they let speak for their son and represent their son. And now they're on the internet, and I'm gonna be frank, they're looking foolish. And this is not allegedly. They're really looking foolish, because they're sitting here and they're blaming it on everybody else. My son did, I didn't know, and we didn't know, and we didn't know. If I don't know, and it's about my child, and it's coming to my child's life being taken away from them being around real criminals, people that have killed multiple people, serial killers, something that they are not, no matter what they did as a kid. That's something that a kid is not. You finna be around it. People that will take their innocence and make them bleed and put them in a hospital in a coma for 6 months and not give a fuck about what their parents feel. This is what they just unleashed their son's life to. They unleashed their son's life to modern day slavery. You know, in the slavery days, they used to make the strongest male slaves from this plantation fight the strongest male slave from that plantation to the death. That's what they do in prison. This man over here, he's trying to fight the strongest man over there. Everybody that's up under that strong man over there, he's doing things to manipulate, to take their life. This is what this young man experienced. You talking about scared. He was scared when he stabbed McCleaf. No, he's really scared now when he's walking through that prison yard off the bus and they standing at the gate, rattling the gate, talking about, whoa, we got some hot cheeks up in here. And they already know who he is. They know his situation. They're not supposed to allow them to watch the news in prison, but some prisoners run the guards. And the guards will let if those prisoners want to watch the news to see who's finna come into prison and who's the rapist, so they can do something bad to him. Guess what? The guard will let him do it. And he's gonna have to witness this. And the more he try to keep his head down, the more people are gonna test him. And as a kid, and you got people that's retired boxers that's got life sentences because they killed somebody with their bare hands and they affiliated in there. When he have to meet one of those guys, when they say, hey, you gotta take a shower, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna strike a fear in his heart that he's never seen and never felt ever. And he has to go through that because his parents wasn't responsible enough to take initiative and say, by any means necessary, and we're not going to let any law firm mishandle this GoFundMe money. We're going to make sure they're serious and they're the right people. We're going to call up the NAACP. Y'all didn't do that. Y'all didn't do that. I heard somebody say, if Johnny Cochran was on this case, Johnny Cochran would have lost. And I commented in the comments down below, Johnny Cochran would have never lost this case. Johnny Cochran's never lost the case. That's why he's who he is. First and last name. That's what people know him by, his actual first and last name. Because he's that big of a person. He, you know, rest in peace to Johnny Cochran, right? But yeah, like, that young man is gonna have to experience.
They've said
that.
what their decision is, and as an attorney, you respect it. You move on with, you know, what's next in the process of what you have to do. I would assume that they're going to be talking to family members as well, saying,
y'all like
hey,
the video,
there's going to be
subscribe to
impact
the channel.
statements if you can't keep calm, if you can't.
I recommend everyone get one, no matter if you have a lot of money or not. No more sunburns on your face, ears, or neck. Breathable mesh keeps you cool, fully adjustable, and stays put even on windy heights. Detachable three-way design for all outdoors.
Yes, way.
Grab yours now
Yes,
before they
way.
sell out.
The question about why he had a knife at a track meet, although it's not illegal in Texas to carry that size of a blade, it is, you cannot have it.
Look, it's not illegal to carry that size of a blade. That's another thing they were saying. They were saying it was a tool, like the Boy Scout switchblade tool, right? So it's got pliers. If you open it all the way up, it's got pliers, and it's got all different kind of filers and stuff to file down nuts and bolts and stuff like that. And it's got a little sharp little knife, right? So, you know, for him to have that, and for them in court to keep on calling it just a knife, and not a tool, you can tell that they tried to make the jury feel that it was more premeditated. Because why do you have a knife if you don't plan on harming somebody or taking somebody's life? What's making you feel in imminent danger that you have to carry a knife around, even though they got a stand your ground law out there, an open carry law out there? You know what I'm saying? So they want you carrying around guns, but they don't want you carrying around knives. That's kind of crazy, right?
At a school function, they didn't answer that. Karmelo didn't take the stand to say, this is what I feared that I was going to get injured. And
Okay.
he said also,
You can't have the knife at the school function, right? So that means that security is in place some kind of way to make sure that nobody gets in this facility with a knife, right? So when we go to track meets and it's a facility where everyone's getting checked, they're checking us. They might not check our gym bags, but they checking us. We got to walk through. Our coaches have our gym bags on the trucks, and they move our gym bags straight from the trucks to the locker room. We had to go through security first, though, and then go to the locker rooms. So who was security that day? What security company was there that day? Because we need to talk to them and see how he was even able to bring a knife in a school function, and he's an athlete. Boom. Why didn't this lawyer say that? Let's keep going.
the fact that the force did not match
crazy, y'all. It's
force.
crazy.
Correct? Or can you kind of explain that?
So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, the jury, when they determined
Y'all
guilt,
like the
innocence,
video, subscribe to the
as
channel.
I said earlier, Bill kept talking about intent. He kept talking about, is this self-defense with each of his witnesses?
You don't
And
care
he just made it
about the
clear, and he
deal,
stuck
but
to
a lot
those
of
2
people do
points.
care.
And I think that the issue that the jury had to determine is, one, the provocation. If they believe that he provoked it, then he's not entitled to a self-defense.
It was not practice.
The whole altercation. If
It
they
was
think-
not practice. It was a meet. The meet got canceled that day after they made it because of the storm. They had a storm warning, right? Because it started raining hard. That's why the meet was canceled. The winds and shit would blow the tents down and all of that. So they had already made it there. It wasn't no practice. It was a damn track meet that got canceled. Okay? So let's just state facts here. Let's not go off to the left. If you do go off to the left, though, I'm going to bring you back to the right. Let's state the facts.
he provoked it. But also, they could just say, hey, even with the shove, even with the push, we just don't believe that your life was threatened, that you had to immediately use lethal force, because you can't use lethal force against non-lethal force.
Right.
And you can form intent instantly.
In an instant.
Right? And so it doesn't have to be like you went out and planned it or
Hot
something.
Wings, I mess with
mess
you.
Instantly.
My nigga Hot Wings
Even though this is a
said
very
Booker
chaotic
Z
scene,
look bad,
it
nigga.
seems like in that moment, the
I
intent was
fuck
formed.
with
That's
you,
what the
man.
jury
I
found.
fuck
I want to
with
jump in
We're
here
going
just
back
for a
to you,
brief
Teresa, yes.
second. I just want to, because we are showing folks, I know that
Facts.
Rebecca
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Tanya
yeah,
and Keith
yeah.
can't
Bam,
see
bam.
all of our live
6'9",
images. And so I just want to
Appreciate that.
describe
Facts.
for our viewers what they are seeing right
Love,
now. This is the aerial shot from our chopper of sort of a growing gaggle of people. Right there you see those two Collin County Sheriff's
Bam,
trucks
bam,
that
yeah,
are parked blocking the street. But this seems to be sort of a confrontation that just keeps going.
Shout
and
out Hot
the
Wings
crowd
and Bam
kind of
Bam.
keeps gathering.
6'9",
But I do
man.
want to bring your attention to
I
those
fuck with 'em
officers
tough.
who
Y'all don't
are,
forget to like the
as
video,
Tanya and
subscribe to
Rebecca
the
have been
channel.
saying,
They
they
some
are
big
allowing
supporters of
people
mine, and
to
I
disagree.
appreciate
They're
it.
allowing people to have their say. They're allowing people to have their conflict. But they are very close by. And you can imagine that if something did escalate to a point where it got physical, that they would potentially step in. But you can
Yeah.
see sort of I think there's about 5 Collin
listen
County
to-
Sheriff's deputies who are surrounding the main part of where it seems like
That
this
guy, right here.
Many of you were surprised at a point that I made in my last video on how Karmelo Anthony's family has actually costed Karmelo extra years in prison. So many extra years. You wanted me to expound on that further because you had not heard anyone make that point. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective, not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years. This is behind the scenes info, so let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Karmelo's mother...
Now, he finna explain how Karmelo, mom, and his pops basically fucked it up for him when it came to the jury, basically coming up with a verdict for how much time they was finna sentence him to.
Basically sentenced her own son Karmelo to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Karmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander. This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon. He's alleged to have beaten his girlfriend. Then he got a new girlfriend, and when that girlfriend left out of the apartment, the good minister grabbed that woman's 2-year-old baby and shook him until that baby got brain damage. The good minister pled guilty in that case to felony charges and was in prison.
Now, the minister that he's talking about is the minister that they had as a spokesperson for Karmelo Anthony, his family. They hired this man through somebody, but they didn't do no kind of background research on him. And the jury and the judge is gonna have this man's record. Anybody who step up in the court to represent this young man or on his team, they're gonna have these folks' records. So listen to this.
Now, this is the man that Karmelo's mom chose to speak on Karmelo and the family's behalf. The good baby shaking minister. The minister did exactly what you would expect a convicted felon to do when handling Karmelo's case. He absolutely destroyed it. How? He ostracized the most important person in Karmelo's case. Now, who is that? Is that the judge? No. Is that the prosecutor? No. The most important person alive in Karmelo's case is actually Jeff Metcalf, the father of the young man that Karmelo Anthony killed, Austin Metcalf. The father, Jeff Metcalf, is the linchpin to Karmelo's entire future. Let me tell you that in a murder case where the victim is gone, the case lives on through the victim's next of kin. When a parent has to bury his child, everyone looks to that parent to gauge how to react. Judges consciously and subconsciously look at the parent's facial expression.
Now, y'all hear what the lawyer is saying? He's saying, when it comes to judging on what sentence they should hand down to whoever the person is, they look at the victim's family. They look at their faces. They look how they've been treated. They look at the victim's family to see how they should handle the fucking case. This is crazy.
When they're testifying on the witness stand. Prosecutors run all their plea offers through the parents. Reporters knock on the parents' doors for statements, and they aim their cameras at the parents when the verdicts drop. And the jurors, oh my goodness. The jurors hang on every word of the parents. Notice every little movement, every gesture. In this case, Jeff Metcalf, the father, is not just a spectator in the case. He's the conscience of the entire community. If you win Jeff, you win all the sympathy. But if you alienate him, you can...
That's what I was telling everybody. I was like, they kicked him out of the prayer, and he's a pillar of his community. Like, he's part of the town hall committee. He's part of he's a personality on their news station. Like, this man is known, so everybody in the city, in a town, is feeling bad for him. They're not feeling bad for Karmelo Anthony's parents. They're not feeling bad for Karmelo Anthony. They actually feeling aggression towards them, and they feeling bad for the victim's family. everybody's gonna feel bad for a victim's family, right? That's crazy. So listen to what he has
Go
to
to
say.
prison for life. Now, months ago, Jeff Metcalf, the father, he did something unthinkable. Reporters, as they always do, shoved a microphone in this grieving father's face and asked him, "How do you feel about this Karmelo Anthony?" Do you know what he said? Jeff Metcalf said, and I quote, "You know what? I've already forgiven this person. Already." Now, that is amazing. It's amazing that Jeff would have the strength to do that, because I would be incapable of that. The maturity, the wisdom, the strength, I just would not have it. Now, that baby shaking minister is not going to know this, but when a father makes a statement like that, a statement of forgiveness, the entire Karmelo team has to drop everything. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Your entire legal strategy has to change. I can tell you as an attorney that you call an emergency meeting with all the lawyers, all the family, maybe PR consultants if the family has means for that. You bring everyone together to get them on the same page and let them know that this case will revolve around one person, Jeff Metcalf, the father. So when Karmelo...
And this who they should have got as their attorney. He just told you. He said when Jeff Metcalf, when he did his little interview and shit, and he said he had already forgiven Karmelo, the whole lawyer team and their strategy was supposed to change and revolve everything around Jeff Metcalf, which means when he came into that praying rally, they were supposed to let him on the stage and say, "Hey, y'all, hold on. This is Austin Metcalf's father. We're gonna let him come up here and say what's on his mind and say what's on his chest, and we want everybody to show him respect and stay open to what he has to say." And guess what? They would have won the fucking trial. He would have probably got 5-10 years maybe. You know what I'm saying? And 5,000 hours of community service. You know what I'm saying? And it would have probably been working for the dad or something. Working for Metcalf's dad with his little construction company or whatever. You know what I'm saying? For his community service. And he would have been able to help sew the wounds up, and he would have been able to still be free.
His mother heard what Jeff said about her son. What do you think that this lady did? She handed the microphone at a press conference to the baby shaking minister of justice. And at that press conference where Jeff Metcalf showed up to pray with the family, the baby shaking minister called the police and had Jeff kicked out. Like, can you believe it? They kicked Jeff Metcalf, who came there to pray. They kicked him out of the press conference.
See?
The entire spectacle went viral within an hour. Do you know what else? Karmelo Anthony's prison sentence was prolonged by 10 to 25 years within that same hour. Now, why do I say that? What did the family show Jeff in that instance? Jeff, the father. They showed Jeff that there was no remorse. They showed Jeff that there would be no mutual prayers. There would be no reconciliation. Showed that man nothing but hostility and aggression. The same hostility, the same aggression maybe that was at that track meet that fateful afternoon, that was under that tent. Some of you are not going to appreciate how important this father is. You just don't know how these criminal sentences work. I see your comments on YouTube and Twitter. You think, oh, this person killed that person, so put the killer in prison and throw away the key. Put him there for life. That's what you guys say. You have no idea. I will tell you that people kill people all the time, and the sentences range from insanity on the low end end to insanity on the high end. Now, who controls where the sentence is going to fall? At the end of the day, it is the sentiment of the community that will decide. And in this case, Jeff Metcalf is at the center of that entire community. Now, let's do this. Let's suppose it is your first day of law school, and I am your criminal law professor. I'm going to tell you some quick facts, and you tell me the sentence that you would give in this scenario if you were the jury, if you were the judge. But first, and this is important, put right now for the record what you think Karmelo should be sentenced to in the video comments. Put it below. Now, here is the quiz. I want everybody to take it. Here's the first case, 4 cases. A 16-year-old in Texas, basically the same age and state of Karmelo. He gets hammered, consuming alcohol, consuming drugs. He does the whole thing. He gets behind the wheel of a vehicle. Of course, he gets into an accident. Now,
same place Karmelo
he kills 4 people. He intentionally gets hammered and gets cooked, and then he takes 4 lives. Now, little law student of mine, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to determine how many years in prison you would give him. Ready? Go. And while you are considering your sentence, just know that in this case, the affluenza case, if you're old enough to remember, this young man, he took 4 lives. But how many years did the judge give him? Well, the judge gave him 10 years for taking 4 lives. 10.
He got a young boy, 16 years old. He got hammered on purpose in the same state that Karmelo Anthony is in the same city that Karmelo Anthony is in. He ran over 4 people. He got hammered, drunk, and high off weed, and ran over 4 people. And how many years did he get? He killed all 4 people. How many years did that young man get? He was 16. He got 10 years for killing 4 people. Vehicular homicide. The place that bro is, come on, man. Watch this.
But here's the kicker. It wasn't 10 years of prison. The judge gave him 10 years of straight probation. This man took 4 lives and got a straight probationary sentence. Not 1 day in prison. Did you guess it? Did you guess 0 years? Now, here is the second of 4 scenarios. A football.
That young dude got basically 0 years. 16, he killed 4 people. Intentionally got hammered, drunk and high. Right? In the same city Karmelo Anthony is in. So this is just showing you that how his parents treated Jeff when he came to the praying rally is what the jury took into consideration when they was giving him his verdict. You know what I'm saying? How many years they was gonna give him. That's why he got the max. Somebody 1 year younger than him got hammered on purpose. He wasn't even hammered. He wasn't high. He wasn't intoxicated. He's an athlete. He was probably full of Gatorade at the time. Electrolytes just bursting through him. But that shows you that his parents had something to do with messing it up. I got a clip from Charleston White.
The white man only picks and chooses who he picks on, and it's typical somebody he thinks is weaker than him. The white man typically picks on people he thinks is weaker than him.
Okay.
If you would have taught your strong boys how to have compassion for the weak, they'll still be alive. In the beginning, I went to Karmelo's dad and asked him to request for a venue change. His lawyers talked him out of it. I said, homie, y'all ain't gonna be able to win out there in Collin County.
Charleston White responds to Austin Metcalf dad, Jeff Metcalf, over the...
So this is what I hate about Charleston White. Charleston White comes in, gets on the phone with Karmelo's dad, apologizing to him. Man, I'm sorry, man. Man, I'm sorry, man. I had you believing, man, them white folks was gonna do us right, do right by us, man, and they didn't do it. Man, I'ma pay you back for that, man. Then all of a sudden, oh no, these folk, his dad ain't nothing but money hungry, man. I ain't gonna help him. Man, if you truly wanted to help Karmelo Anthony out, my nigga, it don't matter what his dad did, you would have still been helping Karmelo Anthony. You don't have to help him through his dad. Help him through his mom. Shit. Nigga. I'm talking about he's such a liar. He's such a liar and he full of it. And then he want to go back and forth. He want to talk about Karmelo Anthony. Then he want to talk about Jeff. Karmelo Anthony, then Jeff. Karmelo Anthony, then Jeff. Charleston White is just in this shit for the money. Charleston White is playing on folks' lives and all in the media and all on the most popular subject because he playing with people's lives. That's exactly what he doing. That's exactly what he doing. That's why
I've been disrespected
people like
by
this
so many
guy's
people.
mad.
So many
That's
times
why
where I've
Jeff
had to sit here and
mad.
take it. I'm gonna tell you right now, Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk. What'd you do to that boy to make him somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you? Hey, Kevin Hayes, liar. Only smart person around. Ooh.
Yeah, they both with you.
All right, what's up with the YouTube fam? I'm back again with another video right now. Listen, we have heard a lot of things on Karmelo Anthony's defense on my channel, right? Now we're going to switch it up a little bit and see what the father has to say because he went on someone's platform and had a lot of different things to say.
Grow up.
He's one person on the internet for the news, and when he's at home, he's a whole
Like
other individual.
Silver said.
Y'all are about to see what I'm talking about.
All right,
now, I understand his frustrations because he lost a child.
Because his dad just straight went off
at the same time,
on everybody.
Make sure that
y'all don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
To keep their hands to themselves because you never know what could happen. I'm going to make sure that my
Let me make something racist up to y'all.
Oh, there you go.
What I'm talking about. Now I can understand his frustrations because he lost a child. I would be a little hostile too.
Yeah, boy, he called that.
But at the same time,
watermelon
I'm going to make sure that my kids will always know to keep their hands to themselves because you never know what could happen. But I'm also going to let them know that taking a life, in that instance could be very bad for you, So I'm going to leave it there. But ultimately, he's saying a lot of different things.
Yeah.
One of the things that caught me off guard was he called Karmelo Anthony a watermelon felon.
Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello. Okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you?
That's horrible.
I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night.
Come on, man.
Because he's gonna have many nights to think about what the
he emotional right now.
I forgave him, so I don't carry the hate and the anger.
Yeah, but his parents made
so
you
I
mad.
don't get ate up by cancer.
You take it out on him.
It's like me drinking poison and hoping it kills you. It doesn't work that way. You gotta let that stuff go or it will kill you. It will eat you up inside. So when people ask me, how can you forgive him? If I didn't, I would have wound up and going to prison myself. That's how stupid people, when you get irrational, because you can't make a good decision if you're emotional. Emotion and intellect
don't forget to
do
like
not
the
mix.
video and subscribe
If
to
you're
the
emotional, you can't come up with a logical solution.
We know what's up with that. And he said, I'm gonna make up something that's racist, even though I'm not a racist, and this will go viral and things like that. That's when he called him whatever he called him and shit like that. But if race played no part in this whole situation, I would not have
You're right.
even
You're right,
acknowledged
Kenneth.
this shit. You know, that's just how
Shout
I
out
feel.
Kenneth
But
Hudson.
ultimately, you know, he
My
said
guy.
if Charleston White, which we already know Charleston
Y'all don't
White,
forget to
he
like the
finna come out
video,
somewhere
subscribe to the channel.
with a lot of shit to say. Watch what
I'm
I
really
tell
like
you.
fuck with
If he
Charleston
be in
White
this
got to
quiet,
say.
I mean, he posting
I got
online.
some
I've been
clip. I got
peeping
a
his channel
clip
out.
from him
I mean, his
though.
page and
I'm
stuff.
gonna let
But when
y'all
he
hear
being
that.
quiet, you better believe something cooking up.
Yep.
But he said if Charleston White, he called out Carmelo Anthony's father as well and said some things about him abandoning his child is sentencing. He said you left your child basically because you're not going to be able to get any more GoFundMe money from this situation.
Yeah, he got the right to feel that way.
And a killer.
You know what I'm saying? But you
Forever.
can't always let your feelings out. You know what I'm saying? Like some of your feelings, yeah. I mean, you can vent all your feelings out, but in front of people, some of your feelings are private. They meant for you and whoever you look up to. You and God. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever you look up to. That's what you some of your feelings are meant for private because everybody don't deserve to know what you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you could be thinking something that could just change the way people feel about you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be logical about opinions that you voice. That's like in workspaces, they don't really allow you talking about church and politics because they know those are two things that can anger people or set people's tempers off. You know what I'm saying? So if you know that talking about black people will set black people off, why would you do it out loud? Unless you wanted black people coming at you just all different ways. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said the dad should stop talking like that. Don't talk like that because you'll be out at the grocery store and think everybody done forgot about you and a group of black people see you that and heard you call that boy a watermelon felon. And you got Anna in beef with his parents because they the ones who kicked you out the rally. He wasn't there. He was locked up, right? And you said you forgave him, right? So why say something else about him? Just keep it about the parents. Y'all all grown. Y'all can fight back and forth. That young man can't defend himself. He in jail right now. You know what I'm saying?
Forever's a long time. What's your master plan, Mr. Anthony? To use your son as income and soak up as much money playing victim to line your pockets? And then abandon him when he's at sentencing or victim impact? You just left him up there by himself? Amazing.
See, his beef ain't even with Karmelo.
Amazing.
It's with the parents.
What about your? What about you, Drew? What kind of father are you? You want to talk about what kind of father? Let's talk about what kind of father you are.
Now, with that being said, a lot of people can see that the GoFundMe has just disappeared. So I'm guessing everyone received a refund. So if you want to donate some money to him, I'm pretty sure something will pop up somewhere so you can do so. But you know, he talked about a lot of different things, and one of the things that he did say was you never know what someone is going through. And I think that he needs to sit back and think about that a little bit more.
Exactly.
And let that resonate. Because you're right, you never know what someone's going through.
So you can't just say anything.
And one thing I was always taught, you never know what someone's going through,
like my
and you
grandma
never know
always
what
told me
somebody
to
will do to
respect
you.
everybody.
You know, so hey.
You never know what
but I ran across a couple of videos where he said that
you ain't got the time
his
to
son took the backpack.
For them to take your
he
life.
moved Carmelo Anthony's backpack or something like that.
None of us do.
You know, and I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. I gotta keep it, you know, how I've been keeping it. But ultimately, you know, he said a lot of different things. Some of the things were distasteful, and I feel like that, you know, this is when the real fight starts. We all know that, and this is when a lot of people will start coming out to say a lot of different things. Carmelo Anthony's father and mother came out, and I did a video about that. If y'all want to scroll down a little bit, y'all can go see that. Check that out and let me know what y'all think about the whole situation. But he said, you know, that Karmelo Anthony's father is a bad father. He also was quoting some things that he seen on his father's Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken, but it was on one of his social medias that he actually seen it. You know, he was saying a lot of different things, man.
I want to say that one more time so it's loud and clear for everybody to hear and understand. A lie is temporary, but the truth lasts forever.
Right. Y'all don't forget to
You know where
like
I
the
found this
video,
quote?
subscribe to the channel.
I know the person who's looking at me right now does. I appreciate it, Mr. Drew Anthony, off your Facebook page.
Yeah.
How poetic
You right,
justice
Kelly.
is served.
We all
just
on the same
threw up
sinking
a big
ship.
softball and I knocked it out of the park. Thank you for making it so easy for me. So you can live
That's right, Pat.
with your lie if you want to.
It really
But my
is.
truth is forever. Just like the
I
fact
just feel like that this was the best time to be the major factor now, and I hate this shit, bro. And I keep out
anxiety with this feeling of dread. And this morning was the first day I woke up with a feeling of peace, comfort,
And that's a hurt
tranquility that I haven't experienced in 14 months. And I felt Austin.
Yeah.
Metcalf was in court every day of Anthony's trial.
Y'all come on in, like the video,
19-year-old, now
subscribe to
convicted
the
murderer,
channel.
not only took his son Austin's life, he did it
We're
right in
getting
front of
into that
Austin's
interview.
twin brother, Hunter.
What killed me was the body cam footage when I could hear Hunter screaming. Oh
heard
God,
his other
oh
son
God, my
scream.
brother, my twin.
Oh man, that's stuck in his head.
You know, as a parent, you always want to protect your kids. And to hear my son and the fear in his voice,
That's crazy, y'all.
and I'm not there to fix it.
What was it like sitting in that courtroom with Karmelo Anthony for 5 or 6 days?
Challenging is the first word that comes to my mind. And I'll even say this. I had a little bit of sorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm human. And that poor boy is fixing to experience a life that I would not wish upon anyone.
That's why I was just
Metcalf
saying.
says even today he's received death threats and has previously
dad
endured
just
doxing
said
of his
that
personal
boy finna
information
experience
and
a
multiple
life
swatting calls
I
to his
wouldn't
house
wish upon
from people who
nobody.
he says have tried to villainize
I just
Austin
told
and
y'all.
the family.
It's
I would
serious.
hope they take a look
It's
in the mirror.
serious in jail. Where he
And if you
finna
have
go,
children,
it's serious.
and
It's
if it was
not
your
like the
child
jails,
who was
you know,
murdered,
the little small jails
would you
and
like
stuff.
people dragging
go to
his name
after
through the mud,
court.
making
Nah, he finna go
memes,
to the big jail.
making jokes, and just really vile comments?
Where do you and the Metcalf family go from here?
Well, I mean, this is day one of a long healing process. Because honestly, it's been impossible to start healing until this trial was complete.
The trial may be over, but the racial polarization among Americans on display outside the Collin County Courthouse continues.
Look at the effect, not just the effect here between the Metcalf family and the Anthony family. Look what it did,
Talking about it everywhere.
one, to those kids they have to live with. Two, it took on this huge, wider, let's have a race war throughout the nation.
Metcalf insists that his son had no racist motives when he approached Anthony about leaving a track team tent.
This case was never about race.
There's going to be those people now that just, try to
We know
throw
that much.
shade on the whole trial with the jury makeup and the speed of it and that sort of thing. I mean,
well, those are the same people that said he was jumped by 4 people. His phone was broken. You're going to spin whatever story to try to keep yourself afloat.
Metcalf believes Anthony should have received a life sentence. He says if Anthony is up for parole in 17 years, he will be there in some form to argue against it.
If I'm still alive, yes, I will be there in person. If not, I am going to make a video, if I'm passed on, that can be played.
There are no walls in Metcalf's home without photos or paintings of Austin and his twin. These images and a scholarship in his son's name.
That's crazy. Jeff Metcalf want to make sure he spend the whole 35 years in jail. He just said when he comes up for parole in 17 years, I'll be there if I'm still alive. He said if I'm not still alive, I'll make a video to be played to make sure that he doesn't get parole. Whenever, if you hurt somebody, if you kill somebody, right, and you get sentenced and you can go up for parole, if any of that person's family members show up to that parole board meeting, the parole board is gonna deny you parole right off the bat. He said if he's still alive in 17 years, when Karmelo Anthony can go up for parole, he's gonna make sure he's there. That means I'm gonna make sure I'm there, and I say no, he do not deserve to get it. He gonna make sure the man stay in jail. He said, and if he die, he gonna have a video that can be played at the motherfucking parole board meetings until he serve out the full sentence.
Or what remained for this father, who says he's ready to finally forgive,
him, but he wanted him to do that 35 years.
But people need to understand about forgiveness. Forgiveness was not for him. Forgiveness was for me, so I don't carry the rage, the hate, and that around. It will eat me up like cancer.
J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
This just played out in real life.
Damn.
Because I told them, please don't make a choice that will affect your life forever.
Just shot the fuck up.
Could be a DUI, maybe an unexpected pregnancy. Maybe you kill someone.
I clicked the mouse.
I don't know. But none of them are going to end up in a good position. Impulse control is one of the things that today's youth has a problem with because the parents do not give them enough instruction, guidance, or whatever reason. Maybe they're not around. Maybe they don't have a father in the house. I don't know. But people said, oh, your kids are bullies. You come, they divorced. It's a split parent home.
Yeah.
I got news for you.
Yeah, and that could have effect on both of the kids. Split parent homes and stuff like that. That's why I make sure no matter what me and my wife go through, I sew that shit up. I make sure that I sew that shit up because I'm not leaving her and she not leaving me. We're gonna forever live together. We have 3 children together. We're gonna forever live together, and both parents gonna be there for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Both of us are gonna be here for our kids together. I don't care how she feel about me. I don't care how I feel about her. I'm gonna always love her. You know what I'm saying? Because that split parent shit, it can affect the home. You know what I'm saying? It can have the kids loving this parent more than the other parent, and this parent influence the children more than the other parent. And I'm not gonna dig into nobody's business, but they said that he was an abusive dad, and Austin McCleave broke his dad's collarbone because he was an abusive dad, and they had to get moved out of the house with their mom. You know what I'm saying? So, if that's true, it's possible that the split parenting, co-parenting shit in separate homes, fucked up the kids in the head some kind of way. And then that's gonna make the other brother even more fucked up because he just saw his brother die right in front of his face. He held him with his last breaths. You know what I'm saying? I got just one more clip from my guy. Where he at? He always right here.
I don't want to see the young man go away for his whole life. I think he's young enough that he can hopefully grow, learn something, come out and be a productive part of society. I don't even think he went there to do what happened, but that's what happened.
Right.
And we don't need to be setting a precedent where if you come up and shove me, I can just pull a knife and say,
right. Y'all like the video,
right?
subscribe
if
to
I
the
come up
channel.
and shove you, you shove me back, we get in a fight, but not pull a knife and stab somebody. For Christ's sake, man.
With the hand in the back, that's a warning, not provocation.
Yeah. And excuse the language, but it was testified and not refuted.
Everybody's entitled to their opinions. It's just about how people are.
What's next in the
Is all of our live images, and so I just want to describe for our viewers what they are seeing right now. This is the aerial shot from our chopper of sort of a growing gaggle of people. Right there you see those two Collin County Sheriff's trucks that are parked blocking the street, but this seems to be sort of a
like the video,
confrontation
subscribe
that
to the
just
channel.
keeps going, and the crowd kind of keeps gathering. But I do want to bring your attention to those officers who
Pat.
are, as Tanya and Rebecca have been saying.
Definitely, Pat. A father is the home. You know what I'm saying? So his father splitting from his mother, not being able to control his anger, you know what I'm saying, making the mother willing to split from him, you know what I'm saying, that broke the home, you know what I'm saying. And even though he was still there for his sons wanted him to be at home with them and their mom. That's where his sons wanted him to be. So his sons did carry rage. I can tell you that myself. They did carry rage and anger because their dad wasn't in the house with them. They couldn't access their dad whenever they wanted. They lived with their mom. Their dad can't tell me that they could have accessed him whenever they wanted to. I mean, he said it in an interview. No, we had good co-parenting. And he called his ex-wife by her name. He said she's over there. She shows them this part of life, and I showed them the man part of life. But they want you to show them the man part of life with mom. Because mom is sad some nights and shit. Because the family is broken and she ain't got her husband. They're getting on her nerves no more. He's just willing to give up. Come on, man. I know your sons carried rage for that. That's why they play sports like football. They can let their rage out. My dad's not in the house. My mom's crying. When I came in from practice the other night, my mom was crying. They take their rage out on their teammates. Man, I know when that man shoved that young black boy, Karmelo Anthony, he probably damn near knocked Karmelo Anthony's ass out. Karmelo Anthony was embarrassed. He wasn't using self-defense. He was embarrassed. He got pushed and he probably went back and fell on the ground like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Or kind of fell into some folks and like push him back. But he didn't. But when he pushed McCleaf didn't move. McCleaf didn't move when he pushed McCleaf. McCleaf like, nigga, that's it. You know, but he didn't say nigga, but I'm saying nigga because, you know, but I'm just saying, McCleaf was 6 feet, 220 or 200 to 220 pounds. Karmelo Anthony, he was only 130 pounds. At the age of 17, he was only 130 pounds, and that's because he was probably skinny because he ran track. Most likely, Austin McCleaf probably ran track too, because most of the times football players and basketball players, like I was a soccer player, so I ran cross country track, but I also ran the track and field, 2x4 and a 4x4, right? But football players and basketball players would be on the track and field team. They wouldn't run cross country. You know, that's mileage. It's like soccer. That's mileage that you running. You running miles back and forth around the soccer field. You know what I'm saying? 90 yards. So it's like the football players would run track too. They would participate in shit like pass the baton and shit. The 1x4, the 4x4, the 2x4. They would participate in those track and field. So I would be able to run with them. So that's probably why McCleaf was there, because he was probably not just football like the pictures that they showed, but he probably ran or did shot put, because some of them do shot put for the track and field. Some of the football players will get recruited for shot put on track and field. Just like if you're a kicker on the football team, you might get recruited to play goalie for the soccer team, or vice versa. If you was goalie on the soccer team and you was a good ass goalie, they might ask you to be on the football team to be the kicker. But yeah, like I was saying, man, that shit crazy, man. He probably was so fucking embarrassed when McCleaf pushed him, and when he pushed McCleaf back, McCleaf didn't fucking move that much. He was like, this nigga pushed me again, I ain't going out. No, I'ma stab. He probably thought that to himself, which would have made it premeditated, but he never confessed that, and I'm not going to say that he did. We're going to say that that's allegedly, right? Allegedly. You just think of you in that situation. You 130 pounds. Somebody else that's telling you to get from under this tent, he's not a teacher, but he's 230 pounds. He's 6 foot tall. You 5'8", 130 pounds. And he say, man, get from under this tent like my coach said. And you like, try to make me. And that man push you and you fall back into everybody. But when you come back up to push him, he don't go fucking nowhere. You gonna say to yourself, man, that nigga pushed me again. I'm gonna show him with this motherfucking box. I got a box cutter. Boom. But that's just alleged. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying,
they are allowing people
I would think
to disagree. They're allowing people to have their say. They're allowing people to have their conflict. But they are very close by. And you can imagine that if something did escalate to a point where it got physical, you know, that they would potentially step in. But you can see sort of I think there's about 5 Collin County Sheriff's deputies who are surrounding the main part of where it seems like this.
Y'all like the video and subscribe.
I don't know what you would call it, discussion, heated discussion is going on. And I know this is exactly the kind of thing that you guys have been seeing over and over.
Yeah.
And over.
And Teresa, there's more likely also undercover officers in there. They always do that when they know they're going to have crowds. They're watching, they're looking to see if anyone, you know, has a weapon they might pull. Of course, you know, Texas is an open carry state. We have actually seen people with guns strapped to them walking around this parking lot that is perfectly legal in Texas, but they want to make sure that there's nothing happening that is going to put anybody's life in danger. So you can bet that there are undercover officers there. We also saw DPS troopers, and you know, and I know because I've covered so many of these, that they probably have their SWAT team. They're people that if they have to move in, they're not visible, but they are around. I can guarantee you. Don't you agree, Tanya?
Absolutely. And given the reaction that we saw
about 100,000 brand new off the lot, Escalade gonna cost you about 120,000.
Large people, and also, and I don't know if we'll see it again. Earlier when we had the murder verdict, we had people showing up.
2026.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we don't start seeing
spend about 120,000 on that Escalade. You get an older John.
I just got another update from Jobin, who again, WFAA's Jobin Puniker, who has been inside the courtroom because we are not allowed to have cameras or microphones. He's been just letting us know moment by moment what's going on. And he tells us that Karmelo Anthony's parents are not in the courtroom, but his grandmother is, and she has been wiping away her tears. And he says that Karmelo Anthony himself has his head down mostly. So that's what's going on.
And see that right there. His parents didn't even show up at his sentencing. And I guess that's what Charleston White meant by they just want the money. You know what I'm saying? And only his grandma was there. And she couldn't stop herself from crying. You know what I'm saying? And he had his head down the whole time, so I'm sure he was crying. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going away for the rest of his life right now. What is this? Blockstar MS Analytics. What are we? Blockstar Analysts. What did we just do? We just analyzed the fuck out of this shit. I love you, chat. I thank you, chat. God bless you. Don't forget to like the video, leave your comments down below, and subscribe to the channel to become a part of the family. Listen, man, you been chilling with yours truly, all the way from Memphis. It's Blockstar MS. Don't you forget me. Yeah, y'all, we'll be back later on tonight with that Drake episode, man, and talking about how he just hit $1 billion and how Elon Musk is worth $1 trillion. Yeah. Love y'all.